Welcome to Marion County Public Schools Family Focused Virtual Learning. These sessions are created for our MCPS families to help guide and navigate you through the district and your child's school. My name is Dr. Amy Cabello, and joining me today is our family engagement team, Marlene Lopes, who's in the background, and Miss Delonica Raymond. The holiday season can be a very eventful time of the year, and there is much to do, but getting together with family and friends and sharing family traditions and stories is a great way to create memories with your loved ones. At MCPS, we realize our focus needs to be on families and the important role each member has to our district. Family Focus strives to build a strong partnership between families, schools, and the community. You may have seen our family engagement team out and about in the community, and this includes a family engagement liaison at every school site. We love meeting families to spread the message of our purpose and commitment. FOCUS is an acronym that spells out families need ongoing communication, useful resources, and support. We know the importance of families being involved with their child's education, and when families, schools, and the community come together, everyone wins, including our students. We see increased student achievement scores, reduced absence rates, and together, students show up to school because they love it. We are teaching resiliency to our students too, who also have a better outcome in life after their educational career. Our monthly topic today introduces Ms. Espinoza, and she will be sharing with our families just like you about how to bond through traditions. So in that chat box below, tell us something you would like to know more about. Also, this is just a great time to like and share our videos. Just click share and let your family and friends know that you're watching an MCPS Family Focused virtual learning session. We have a special message this month from two very talented educators, Miss Annie Espinoza and Chef Fry. As we head into the holidays, there are so many great ways to bond with our families and spend quality time together. Our teacher and counselor are ready to give us some great tidbits of advice on learning in the kitchen and keeping the line of communication open while bonding through traditions. If you registered in advance, you received an email with the recipe for today's cooking segment. Before we get started, we want to thank Ms. Shannon Bellaton at Teacher Creative Materials for providing cooking innovation books to share with our families. The first 6 families to complete the survey at the end of the session will receive a book provided by TCM. Be on the lookout for the QR code. So let's get ready to bond through traditions with Ms. Espinoza.
This holiday season evokes many emotions. It could be cheerful, stressful, joyous, and sometimes sad. As adults, we may find it easy to navigate and cope with these feelings, but our children might not find it so easy. So we asked a school counselor how to ensure we use the next few weeks on how to open the line of communication to start bonding through communication and keep that line of communication open. At this time, we would like to introduce Ms. Annie Espinoza, school counselor at Lake Weir High School.
Thank you for joining us, Annie. We are eager to hear some tidbits of information that will come in handy this holiday season. Our children will be home for the holidays and we get some extended time with them. I've always found it really easy to entertain my daughters when they were younger, but as they got older, asking them questions and finding out what they did at school became very difficult. As a matter of fact, I think most of the time I either got a grunt or I don't know. So I'm hoping today that you can help all of the families out there in finding ways to communicate with their children as they're home for the holidays. Families, also, this is a chance for you to show us some love. Drop a heart and a comment below. We want to hear from you about how do you get your children to communicate with you during the holidays too. What are some tips for getting your teens to talk?
So our families want to know what are some ways that parents can connect with their kids, especially their teens?
Yeah, well, I always like to recommend the parents to sit down with their kids, watch a movie with them, and especially if they are boys, boys learn shoulder to shoulder. So doing activities with them will help them grow and will help them to connect. If there is a girl, then we learn different. We are more face-to-face and bonding. So doing activities with them, like doing their hair, doing their nails, or cooking together, that will be a great activity with, interact and connect with their children. Ask questions when you are with them doing activities. Ask questions after when they arrive from school, but more open-ended questions, no questions that they can answer yes or no. Because if you ask them, how was your day? Is only one answer. Is yes or no, or is good or bad, or it was okay. So you will like some questions that will engage with them, like what was the best thing that happened today in school? What was the worst thing? What would have changed today from school? Or who is your best friend? Or who is your frenemy? You know, we always have a frenemy. What is your best teacher? What is that teacher doing that you like it so much? Or what is the worst teacher that you have? What is it that you don't like? So it's kind of help them connect and also immerse ourselves in their world. I will say always supervise, and don't self-supervise it, especially how they interact with you, what they do in social media, and how they communicate with peers. I always say you give them a phone, but you're responsible to supervise how they're interacting with other people. And, you know, always expect that they will make mistakes. There is no one that is perfect, so they will make mistakes. Take those mistakes as opportunities for them to grow and for you to teach them with love and respect. Remember, every crisis is an opportunity. I think parents are there to correct the evil part of the children. Recognizing their flaws will give you the opportunity to develop their weakness and make them stronger. Set boundaries and consequences that will show them love. For kids, attention equals love. What they do or don't do matters. And that is what they have consequence, either positive or negative. That reflects love, care, and belonging.
Okay, so what would you say are some conversation starters for different age groups?
Well, for our little ones, the same questions. How was your school today? What did you learn in school today? What is it that you like the most of the activities you did in school? Was everyone nice to you in school? What is your favorite teacher? What is it that this teacher is doing that you like so much? What was the worst thing that happened to you today? What did you do during recess? Who do you spend the lunch with? What do you eat? Things that you can kind of see. And with the middle ones, the ones that are in middle school, ask the same questions, but prepare for more creative answers.
Yeah.
Supervise social media. Get involved in the interest and ask questions or share information they may like. For example, I have a 15-year-old boy, and I don't like video games. But I sit down with him, you know, when I don't play video games because I don't know how to play, but I sit down next to him to see what is he doing. And sometimes he's really good at it, especially this new video game, Gran Turismo, where you learn how to drive. And he's really good at it, so I just praise him and sit down with him. With a girl, sit down and watch a movie with them and see what are the interests, you know, interact, make jokes about what what you're watching with them. Don't be afraid to talk about drugs or sex with your preteens or teenagers. They have already a lot of information and a lot of access to that information. It will be better if the information comes from you. They will know what to expect from a healthy search that wants their success. Don't be afraid to answer questions. If you are uncomfortable, let them know how you feel and answer them. They need answers. If you don't give them the answers, they will find them somewhere, somehow. So if you have questions of you're not understanding, ask questions honestly. Be genuine and authentic with them. I have seen that teenagers dislike ambiguity, and they will mistrust you if they don't feel you are being honest. With high school students, it's very important we treat them with the same respect you want from you. Keeping in mind you are in a position of authority always. You're not a buddy, you're not a friend, you're a parent, and there are differences. Sometimes we want to be friends with our kids, and that's okay, but understanding that there are differences and you are representing a positive authority who is there to serve them and protect them. Recognize always their progress and always find something to praise. Allow them to feel, validate their feelings, even though you're uncomfortable with them. Do not minimize them or disregard them. Help them find solutions on their own. When you're helping them, you are kind of enable them to find the answers. But when you are allow them to answer the questions by themselves and find solutions by themselves, you are forming their character. You are enhancing their abilities and coping skills. You know, ask what we can do to solve presenting problems. Like, for example, sometimes my kid lacks in grades, sometimes doesn't have a very organized week, so he get distracted and I see his grades falling. Before I correct, I will say, what is happening? How can I help you to improve? What do you need? What do you need me to help you with? And sometimes they get that as, no, I'm okay. I can handle, I can control it. But that also gives them a tool, which is power. The power that I can change my, that is my decisions and I know what to do, and kind of organize in their mind what is it that they need to step into in order to make it better. So I think those are little tips that can help us to connect.
And where would you say is like the best place to have an open conversation?
I will say everywhere. Everywhere is good to have, but always praise in public and reprimand in secret. All the time is the good moment to have a conversation. Don't be afraid to ask questions, but respect their boundaries and correct them appropriately. Practice being assertive. And being assertive means saying what you feel, what do you want or dislike, and what to expect from others. Being assertive means to say things in the right way, in the right time, to the right person. And remember, kids learn by imitation. They hear more what you do than what you said. So they learn by what you're doing, right? You want them to learn something, do it yourself.
That takes a lot of practice, I'm going to say, because as my daughters are much older, it was difficult to have conversations with the oldest one, but as I got to the second one, I felt like I'm prepared. I've got this, and I know how to ask the right questions. So parents, don't be afraid to know that it takes practice to have tough conversations.
Exactly.
It doesn't come easy.
And also being okay to be uncomfortable. Sometimes they will ask questions that, or they will come up with that you're not prepared, and let them know, like, oh, right now, I don't know how to answer you, but let me just think about it, but go back. Always answer them in the way. Remember, you are the positive authority. You are the positive role model for them, and they need you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Espinosa. It's so awesome to hear how we can connect during this time. I mean, we are going to have great 2 weeks off, and that's a start. So this is you opening up those conversations to keep it going throughout the year and the rest of their life. It's a great, healthy relationship for your children. Thank you for those tips and those strategies for effective communication, connecting with our children. It's awesome knowing that our schools have counselors like you to help guide students through academics and enforce resiliency skills, because you did talk to us a lot about persevering and just ensuring like we're empowered, and that whole respect piece. There's so much that we really think about our character building, that resiliency skills that we want our students to have. So you know what? Cooking together is another way to keep the conversation with your children going, and it's also a great learning experience for families to bond while making these delicious meals. This great time to check in and see if our families and of our studio audience have any questions. So feel free to type in that chat box and we will respond. I'd love to know, how are you making those connections with your children at home? If you have a great tip that you want to share on how to open up some really, sensitive areas, how do you get them to start talking to you? Share that also, because we have lots of family members who want to know, how do we have those hard conversations? If you're finding this session's information helpful, please send us a heart. We want to hear from our families and ensure that we're providing you with the topics that help families navigate through Marion County Public Schools. So go ahead, drop us a topic also that you want to learn more about. We've also included a QR code for you to take our survey. As we value your feedback and we want to ensure family voices are heard.
So as we're talking about cooking today, I just want you all to realize that all of our families can experience math with measurement, literacy by reading the ingredients and following the directions, science through chemical reactions by heating and mixing, and history by discussing culture and tradition in a fun yet teachable setting. So gather your children and the ingredients listed because it is time to get cooking.
Hello, I'm Kim Fry, and I teach culinary arts here at Osceola Middle. This course is available to 7th and 8th graders. What you're going to watch are some videos of my classes preparing a dish that they could make at home with their family. We talk a lot about how cooking at home is cost effective, that you can make it more appropriate like what your family actually likes, and use that cooking time to build memories, find out what's going on with your kids, or find out what how your parents' day was going. So it's just a great way to connect with different family. We also talk a lot about preparing dishes that you could do with a sibling if you're babysitting and you're in charge of younger siblings in your household, and that how you can get them involved. I think cooking with kids is one of the best things you can do for your children, because it helps them develop their math skills. They know how many teaspoons are being used. They know what a teaspoon looks like. They know how to read a measurement. They learn their ounces. They also get to see the science of what's going on in food. They get to see how baking soda makes the cookie dough spread out, or how yeast can make something rise, and you can talk about the science or the chemistry that's going on in the kitchens. It also allows kids to be problem solvers. Not everything we make turns out well, and then they can think about, why didn't it turn out well? What can I do differently? I always tell my students, don't over add something. You can always increase. Like, even if you're baking, don't bake it the full amount. Start about 5 minutes less than it calls for, and then you can always keep adding another minute until something gets done. And it helps them evaluate, is that food done? Is it ready to take out of the oven? And also just safety facts, different safety issues of how not to get hurt in the kitchen. And those skills can be applied to all other parts in their lives. So I love cooking with kids. I've been doing this for 37 years in the classroom. So I hope you enjoy the footage that you're going to watch, and it's been my pleasure. Today, guys, we are going to learn how to make chicken cordon bleu. This is an excellent dish to make with your family, for your family, or with friends, as we're going to do. All right, so what you need is a boneless, skinless chicken breast. And if you can buy the ones that are kind of thin, it's going to be easier to work with. Now, this is raw, so you want to make sure that you have all your items prepped beforehand so that you're not touching cabinet handles and drawers and such. All right, so get everything laid out. You want to work on either wax paper, which looks like this, or parchment paper, or even a plastic mat. This would work really well, and this is something that you can work until the end on. All right, you want to take those two away, but we're just going to work on parchment paper. All right, now this is a meat mallet or a tenderizer. You do not want to use the side that has spikes. This is going to tear up your chicken. Chicken does not need tenderized, but this would be a good one to use if you had a tough cut of steak. We want to use the flattening side. If you don't have a mallet, you can take a can, wrap it in tin foil, and use that. I would not use a rolling pin because the wood and raw chicken is not recommended. So the first thing you're going to do is flatten this out. Remember, just flatten it out. Don't Kids love this part. All right. The flatter you can get it, the easier it is to roll. And you can also tell, this part's pretty thin, so I don't want to flatten too much, but this part's still pretty thick. All right. When you think you have it flattened out, you're going to move down to your next station. And we're using a spicy Dijon mustard. All right. This will give our chicken cordon bleu just a little kick. All right. So you want to get a generous amount and brush it on. If you don't have a brush, what can you use? Right, and the back of a spoon. And the spoon also makes a good measuring. You can use a spoonful, plop it, and then use the back of the spoon to spread. So that's an easy way to measure. All right, I'm going to come down to my next station, and we are using just a honey-baked deli ham, 1 slice. You can lay it in here. Come down to the next, and we're using Swiss cheese. Now, if your cheese is kind of big like this one, I want to cut it, tear it, because I don't want my cheese to bake out, all right? And if you only want to use a half a slice of cheese, you know, save a little money and just do a half a slice, you can do that as well, all right? Now, this next step is the tricky part. This is when we want to roll it, and we want to roll it tight, and we want to try to get the sides to stay in so that our cheese doesn't melt out. All right. Now you want to just move it like this. It's okay if the mustard comes out. That's not going to matter. All right. Now, you can see right here it's open. I want to try to kind of close that up because the cheese will bake out. And then you wouldn't even, it's kind of wasting. Like I said, this is a little bit of the tricky part. Young kids might need a little help with this step. All right. Middle schoolers, you can do this. All right. Now, using toothpicks, you have to be a little careful so that whoever's eating your chicken knows there's toothpicks in there. Someone may not be paying attention and they cut it just right, take a big bite, and get stabbed. So be careful. I always say, leave your toothpicks out so that they are definitely visible. Don't shove your toothpick all the way in so that it is hidden. That's dangerous. All right, the next step, we are going to give it a milk bath. All right. Now, I don't always keep fresh milk on hand, so we're going to use a can of evaporated milk. All right. And in here, I have a couple eggs already scrambled. All right. And you're going to just scramble this up. And then I'm going to go immediately from this bowl into this bowl, which is seasoned breadcrumbs. If you don't have seasoned breadcrumbs, you could use panko. You can make your own breadcrumbs. Crush up some saltine or Ritz crackers. You know, you see whatever's in your house. You know, maybe even oatmeal if that's all you had. But I do think you want a breading on it. So, all right, at this point, we're going to dip it. Yeah, it feels kind of ick. All right, it feels icky on your hands. Get all that egg dripping off. And then go right into here. You want to get a good coating. Now, the important part when you put it in your pan is you want the seam down. Do not put it up like this. If you do, it'll bake open. All your cheese, everything will run out. And you can also, you can be pretty good at tucking and folding this in if the toothpicks aren't working. And you're just going to gently put it in the pan. You want them side by side, but I wouldn't have them too mashed because then that can affect the cooking. Like have a little bit of space between the chickens so that the air can circulate. And then we're going to throw these in the oven at 350 degrees for how long? Do you remember? 45. About 45 minutes. All right. If you weren't sure on time, we could just do a thermometer, and what would the internal temperature be? 165. So you want your internal to be 165 degrees. All right, it is now your turn. I'm going to wash my hands and go ahead and form 2 lines and just come on down. All right, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
Good. Today we're going to learn how to make twice-baked potatoes. Now, twice-baked potatoes are an excellent side for any dish, all right? And it's very economical because 1 potato gives you 2 servings, all right? So the first thing you want to do is have your potatoes baked. This is something you can do ahead of time or earlier. You just want them cool enough that you can pick the potato up. And then have your parent cut the potato in half if you're not used to using a knife, so that you have 2 potatoes, right? Now, with a spoon, you're going to hollow it out kind of like you're digging out a canoe. Don't get too close to the edge of the potato because then it might collapse on you. So you're just literally going to, holding the potato to give it support, you're just going to scoop this out. All right. Have you guys ever had a twice-baked potato?
Yes.
No, you've never had one? Jeffrey, what's the thing you love about a twice-baked?
The toppings.
You like the toppings? You like what you put into a potato? Who did you make potatoes with?
My mom.
You and your mom? All right. Cooking is a great activity to do with a parent because you can have nice conversations.
Yeah.
You can tell them things that's going on in your life and they want to know. So you're going to just dig. If you rip the skin, it's okay. All right, everything can be repairable. But I'm going to let you 2 get started on hauling out while I cut the potatoes in half for you. All right, great job. Now, if I wanted to make an appetizer, I could deep fat fry this. All right, so it's like a fried potato. And then I could fill it with cheese, bacon, whatever, sour cream, and that would be a little appetizer for a family. But we're going to make twice baked. So continue on to the next potatoes. We got a lot of potatoes here to scoop out. right, you guys did a fabulous job getting all the potatoes out. And some of these, this is a great one. All right, it's kind of like a little canoe. I have plenty of room to fill. Even if someone gets a little too vigorous and scrapes it out, we can still repair this, okay? We don't want to waste any of the potatoes. So don't look at one and go, oh, that one's ruined. It's not. Anything can be fixed. All right, now, you have a couple of ways that you can mash the potatoes. You can use your hand mixer. Do you guys have a hand mixer at home? Yes. Mm-hmm. All right, that works great. We basically want to try to make like a mashed potato. If you don't have a hand mixer, you don't want to get that out, I'm going to grab a pastry blender, all right, or a good old-fashioned potato masher works, which I don't have one here. So I'm just going to mash this up a little bit. Actually, Hadley, I'm going to let you kind of mash that. And we want to try to get our lumps out of the potatoes. I'm just going to sprinkle some in. And some pepper. All right. I think you need to add sour cream and butter. I think that's staples in any twice-baked potatoes. And instead of milk, I don't have milk, so like I said, whatever you have in your house would work. We're going to use a little half and half. So I'm going to just pour a little of that in here. And Jeffrey, I'm going to let you just put like a good spoonful. You don't even have to measure. That's what's so great about making these. Nothing has to be perfect. And Hadley, if you think you can switch to the spoon, you can. And we're going to add some butter.
Do you need more sour cream or are we good?
I'll probably do another little spoonful. We like sour cream. There you go.
A spoon?
Yep. And if you want to open the cheese, Jeffrey, do you think we need this full stick of butter?
Yes.
What do you think?
Sure, yeah.
You want the whole stick. All right, you guys like butter.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Another reason I love cooking with kids is it allows you to think, problem solve. And if your decision was wrong, you can always correct it. So why don't we start with half a stick and then sample it and see if you think it needs more. All right? Remember, you can always add. You can't take something out. All right? So remember, always start kind of low and just build it up. All right, so Jeffrey, why don't you add a little bit of cheese to that mixture? And let's see. Now my butter is softened. If it was right out of the refrigerator, it might, oops, so sorry.
That's okay.
It might be too cold to do this. And melted butter would not be a problem. All right. Are you getting a workout?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want Jeffrey to take over?
Yes, please.
All right. Now our mixture is starting to look like this. It smells delicious, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know what these are?
Scallions.
Scallions. It's a type of onion, and it's kind of mild. The green is going to give us some color, plus a little bit of onion flavor. So, you see how I just sliced it? And this is a good way that kids can cut without using a knife. And they can just use their kitchen shears. So just cut until you think it has enough color and cut them perfect. Not too wide, just little slivers, because really nobody wants a big chunk of onion
How much
in their mouth.
Do they like get the clumps out?
Absolutely.
All right.
And I'm thinking it needs a little more salt. Don't think this is too much because this is going to serve 20 potatoes. Okay. All right. Now I think we're ready for the best part. What do you think the best part is?
Putting it in the potato.
No. What do you think the
Eating it,
best part?
taste test.
We need to taste test. Do you want to step out and get 2 forks or 2 spoons? Have you ever been the taste tester in your family? You get called in and I need a tester? Yeah, my girls, that's their favorite part, is testing. All right, I'll let you two. Now, make sure it's got enough salt. Is it good?
Yeah.
All right, if we need to add any more, you said we need a full stick of butter. Do we need to add more butter to it?
No. I think we need to get some of the clumps out though.
All right, so it's a little clumpy. Do we need more sour cream? A little more pepper. All right, good observation. See, cooking is like problem solving. You get to think about what do I need to add? How can I make it better? Now, could you use other seasonings?
Yes.
What would you add, Jeffrey? What does your family like?
Garlic powder.
Oh, garlic powder is a great thing to add in it. We're going to just use a disposable pan, and I'm going to line them up. All right? So I will let you guys go ahead and start filling these in, and I'll
Made with, or are we going to use different ones?
No, I used my fork that wasn't eating. So that's a great observation, Jeffrey. You don't want to cook with the fork you tasted with. Even if it is just for your family, we don't want to contaminate. All right, you guys did fabulous. These twice-baked potatoes look so delicious, but we're going to do one more thing to them. What do you think, Jeffrey?
Put them in the oven.
Before we put them in the oven,
Add some cheese to them.
we're going to add more cheese. That's right. Isn't that your favorite thing?
Yeah.
More cheese. Now, Hadley, if you were making these for your family, what would you add that we did differently?
Bacon.
You would add bacon,
Chopped up bacon.
chopped up bacon. That would be great. And you could even use like leftover bacon from breakfast and then save it for the potatoes. That's a great idea. What would you do?
I'll probably add different types of cheeses.
Yeah, you're a cheese family?
Yeah.
Me too. What cheese would you add?
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella. So you like a little bit of that stringiness to it. All right, awesome. All right, Jeffrey, you're going to get a generous portion of cheese on top of each potato. And then Hadley, we're going to throw them in the oven. We're going to bake these about 350. Did you preheat your oven before we cooked?
Yes.
That is such a great time saver. Always preheat before you even start cooking. So now we don't have to wait for the oven. And when you reach into a hot oven, what are you going to use?
Oven mitts.
You're going to protect your hands with oven mitts, so we don't want any burns. And you'll set the timer, let's give these about 20 minutes. They've already been cooked, so we just kind of need them in the oven long enough to get them warm, get them hot, and get that cheese melted and bubbly. All right? So, yeah, we like cheese, Jeffrey, so keep adding. Okay. So if you want to go ahead and take that pan, Hadley, and they can go on the same rack, but you want the pans not touching. We want space to flow between the two pans.
Okay.
So that the heat can get distributed. You're doing a great job.
Hot oven.
Hot oven. Warn others. That's perfect. You getting hungry?
Yeah.
All right. One final pan. Now we got the fun part of what?
Hot oven.
Cleaning up. A good rule of thumb, though, to make this a little easier, is to clean as you go. And then you're not overwhelmed with a major cleanup. But for today, that we really couldn't do that. But when you do this at home, try to kind of clean up as you go. And by having everything set up and prepped like I did, what do we call that?
Mise en place.
Mise en place. That is a huge time saver. It takes a little bit of a minute to get everything out of the refrigerator, get it laid out, get your utensils ready, but in the long run, it'll save you a lot of time. You guys did a fabulous job. Thanks for cooking with me.
Of course.
All right. All right. We are going to set our table. Let's make our table nice. Sitting down as a family is very important. It's a good time that families come together. Does anyone have a set day of the week that your family tries to sit down? Because sometimes it's hard, as busy as you get. Does anyone sit down as a family? All right. Is it every day? Do you shoot for like 2 days a week, 3 days a week?
It's usually every day, but we normally do it Tuesday because that's when we have nothing going on.
So Tuesday's a day when you don't have any activity going on, and that's like kind of sacred to your family of preserving that family time. That's awesome. I know families get very busy. You got sports, you got activities, you got clubs. I know sometimes families will try to do it on a Sunday or maybe a Saturday. And rather than going out to eat, although I love to go out to eat, I think that's also a great memory. It's also nice in your own home. And it's much more affordable because what we spent on those potatoes was just a few dollars. And what you would spend in a restaurant would be a lot more than that. So we're going to set the table. Tablecloths are out, and you're going to need a plate. Which side does the fork go on? The left. And can you tell me how you remember that? Ala?
So like F-O-R-K, and it goes on the left because it's 4 letters and left is 4 letters.
That's right. L-E-F-T has 4 letters. So any utensil that has 4 letters, we're going to keep it on the left side. F-O-R-K. Great. And then on the right has R-I-G-H-T. How many letters are in knife? 5. K-N-I-F-E. All right. So this also helps your spelling. Spoon has S-P-O-O-N, so this is also going to go on the left. Now, if this should happen to be a dessert spoon, where are we going to place it? We're going to place it at the top. Sadly, today we do not have dessert, all right? So we're going to keep it with the dinner spoon. Also, there is a certain way you want to place your knife. You're going to either place it inward towards the plate or blade outward. Inward, good. That is just a little more of a protection so you don't have a sharp blade out. The cup, or the glass, here's another memory. Spell glass. G-L-A-S-S. Goes on the right side, 5 letter, and it goes at the tip of the knife. All right. Try real hard when you're setting the table not to touch the parts that people are going to have their mouth on. So you don't want to grab the cup up here. You don't want to grab the knife by here or the forks here because then you're contaminating and putting some germs. There's not really a set rule for the napkin, so I'm going to let each table, you can decide. You just want to make sure they're all the same. Whether you want to put it under the fork, if you want to put it under here, if you want to put it on the plate, if you want to put it under the plate, that is your creative decision. But just make sure that all plates at the table are set the same way. All right? So let's take a minute and set our tables.
glad you tuned in to our session, and we're here to help. What questions or comments do you have? Thank you, Ms. Espinoza and Chef Fry, for helping us learn more about bonding through traditions. Our chat line is still open, so go ahead and continue to ask those questions about family engagement. Or if you have any questions about career and technical programs like Chef Fry's culinary class, go ahead and type it in the chat box. We are there, and we don't want you to forget to like, follow, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram sites. We often get asked, how can I help my child prepare for school, classwork, homework, or just some extra resources? We want to let you know that our Family Focus Team Family Engagement Office also has a program called Full Steam Ahead Tutoring and Enrichment Program that's being offered at 2 local community centers. We provide that homework support, plus we have STEAM projects, which are in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. They're great programs to be involved in. Those 2 community centers that you can come out to are Mary Sue Rich and Bellevue. It's open to all ages, and we have certified teachers in both elementary and secondary available to offer your child some support. The hours are 3:30 to 6 p.m. and the dates do vary at each of the community centers. At Mary Sue Rich, it is Tuesdays and Thursdays, and at Bellevue Community Center, it's every Wednesday. If you'd like more information, follow us on Facebook, and we will post how to register for this wonderful opportunity. Our learning sessions are opportunities for families to connect with the district and the community. We have 2 events coming up that are going to be a blast. Second semester comes quickly and schools start preparing for the next year, and so should our students. Hence, I've got my guidance counselor here. So on Saturday, January 27th, we're offering and hosting Together Toward Tomorrow, which is an event for every family member needs to know about. This is where families learn more about moving to the next grade level and getting them prepared for whether it goes middle school to high school and beyond, getting that job, going to college or a university, maybe even enlisting, or maybe you have a little one that's going from kindergarten to first or just entering school. So this is a great event for you to come out and learn about the expectations, and then what does it look like to ensure that your child is successful in that grade level. In addition, next month, we also have a virtual learning session that's geared towards secondary families who would like more information about career planning and CF pathways at Central College of Florida. These events are posted on our Facebook page, and you can use the QR code to register. Your feedback is our main focus, so share your thoughts. Let us know what type of information you want to hear about. You can drop a message right here in the chat box, or feel free to email us at engagemcps@marionk12.fl.us. And don't forget, the first 6 surveys completed receive a giveaway sponsored by Teacher Created Materials. Lastly, we want to thank our guest speakers from our district, Miss Annie Espinoza and Chef Fry. We learned a great deal about learning in the kitchen and bonding through communication. In addition, we'd like to say thank you to our program specialists, Miss Marlene Lopes and Miss Delonica Raymond, and our great video crew right behind us helping us today. Thank you to Teacher Creative Materials for the in-studio audience giveaways. It's been an absolute pleasure spending time with our Marion County Public Schools families. Thank you for your participation. And family engagement, remember, is the key to student success. When our families get involved with the schools, everyone benefits. Don't forget to like and follow us at one or all of our social media accounts. This is a great way to stay in touch and find out what's going on at Marion County Public Schools. This has been Dr. Cabello, and thank you for watching.